Are you a successful, conscious, and highly driven human who is doing amazing things in the world, but still feeling like you can't quite get the wins that you want on the board? If so, I hear you, and this video is for you. Last year, I hit what I would consider to be one of my biggest burnout points in my life. I was depleted, I was exhausted, I was doing all the right things and really living life in a way that I felt was congruent and in alignment, but it just was not feeling great. It was feeling deeply depleted. It was feeling completely not aligned. And I felt lost within myself. I knew that there was something missing. I knew that there was an element of my soul and my spark that I wasn't engaging with. And if you're hearing that quiet whisper in your soul, and maybe it's getting even louder at the moment, that quiet voice that says, I know that there is more for me, that there is more energy, more vitality, more radiance available for me now, and I'm not accessing it, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm sharing 3 powerful energetic shifts that helped me change the trajectory of my life and move in the direction of my dreams, to the point where I am 8 months into living in Bali now. I want to show you how I initiated this shift, give you some really transformational tips, not just surface level hacks, but really deep transformational shifts that are going to help you get on your highest timeline now. So let me take you back to last year. It was mid to end of last year, so 2024. I was feeling sluggish, felt like Groundhog Day, daily grind, even though I'm in my purpose work, even though I live a life that many people would dream to live. I was grinding and I felt like I was pushing my wheels through mud and just gaining no traction. I was, my business wasn't in flow. I was struggling to keep a relationship that was not in the deepest alignment for both of us. I got into a really deep funk over where the world was at. I feel the collective really strongly. And I felt like the direction that we'd been going in, particularly in my sort of local elections at home in Australia, and then in international elections, hint, hint, the United States, I felt so scared for the world, and the collective was feeling darker and darker. And for me, the culmination of all of these factors kind of hit their deepest ebb towards the end of last year for me. And, you know, the breakdown does ultimately lead to the breakthrough, but it was tough. It was hard. So in this time when I felt like I was hitting my one of my rock bottoms in this life, we have many, let's normalize that. I turned to really focus on the things that I could control. And I started to feel really inspired and began learning, reading, and researching a lot about circadian rhythm and circadian health and quantum health. And I started to just put into practice some really simple techniques. One of them, which is the first transformational shift I'm going to give you, is solar light medicine, light as medicine. I started to really focus on and watch my relationship to light, to sunlight, but also to internal artificial light. Because I spend a lot of time on screens, I spent a lot of time with, you know, lights on in my house. I hadn't realized, and many people still don't realize how harmful blue light is. And I want to point out that, say, my workspace now, this co-working space that I spend a lot of time in Bali, is fully open to the elements. It's open to the sunshine, the wind, the rain when it rains here. And I am all the more healthy for it. But previously, I didn't really think that it was a big deal to spend a lot of my time indoors under like office lights, in front of screens without being outside. But I flipped this at the end of last year and started to really get very focused on my circadian health. And one of the key things I did was make sure I saw the sunrise, make sure that I exposed my bare eyes. So I wear contact lenses for a lot of the time. So no contact lenses, no glasses for sunrise and into UVA rise in the morning. So that is, like quite early. But once you sync up with sunrise, you will naturally begin to wake up at that time anyway. So I never use an alarm and will always wake up around that time now of sunrise. And just making that one small shift, so between 10 and 20 minutes a day, longer if possible. If you can shift your whole morning routine outside or your whole sort of morning activities outside, you will benefit massively. The shift towards circadian rhythm and health, just that led to a cascade of health and vitality benefits I cannot even begin to talk about in this video. But just try that and you will start to see shifts in your mood, shifts in your hormones, shifts in your body health. Just that. So try it. So, as I've said previously, I felt like last year, my life, the world was just getting out of control. And hint, there's like, it's never under our control. Like, that's a myth. But I really felt as though there's almost had like this Armageddon feel to it. And it was extremely disconcerting to have that sensation in my body, sensation in my mind that things were really, really getting bad. And my mind loves to go to grasp at information, right? To make itself certain, to make itself really landed in what I thought was reality. And so I was watching so much news on YouTube, not necessarily like mainstream national news on TV, but certainly YouTube. I was consuming news, what I sort of thought was objective reality, incessantly. I remember I would be daily checking in and kind of sort of getting a bit of a buzz and a bit of I was sort of felt like I was getting fuel from it. But little did I know that it was steering me in the direction of really beginning to feel like I was the victim of an objective reality, when in actual fact, and here's transformation shift number 2 for you, I wasn't engaging enough with my living grid. And the living grid is a concept that I have developed out of my own personal light grid activation process, which you may know is one of my techniques that I use with my clients and myself to really align us all with the quantum, with higher realms of energetic light. And what I temporarily forgot in consuming so much news and consuming so much knowledge and information was that I also have a co-creative role in reality, meaning via my living grid, I actually have the power to affect the reality that I see. And the reality that we see is often like the glasses, the sunglasses we choose to put on in the daytime. It's like the lens we look through. So I kind of temporarily forgot that and let myself be swayed by the chaos of the collective and saw that happen, like saw my life just kind of come into this really crunchy space that did not feel great. And it took me hitting that sort of rock bottom sensation to go, right, wait a second. Hey, did I forget that I'm a co-creator of this life, that I'm a co-creator of this reality, that my living grid is really, really powerful and important, and that the layers of each of our living grids that we all together as humanity co-create the collective, that we each have our responsibility to co-create a living grid within our reality that is helpful for the collective, right? But what I was doing was feeding into an agenda, like a fear field obsession that was leaking into the rest of my life. And so what I began to do was, instead of just taking the news or taking whatever that, sort of agenda wanted me to be in, like a state of constant outrage or whatever, I started to let myself ask the question, like, what is my grid asking of me now? Or what am I seeing currently reflected to me? And what do I actually want? Right. And beginning with the what do I want to see in my reality, as opposed to what I think I'm seeing. Right. And once I began to flip that and I began to remember, oh, I put those glasses on. No one else puts those glasses on me. I choose to put those glasses on. I began to consciously choose what I was powering my living grid with, what I was actually allowing into my life, allowing into my own perceptions. And as soon as I did that, I began to see that my own living grid, so my own perception of reality in my life, began to shift and change. And look, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows initially, because when you're shifting timelines, and it was sort of taking your power away from fear fields that are quite dominant, the stuff that you have had in your life that is incongruent with where you're going tends to fall away. And that can be painful. That can be a bit chaotic, but it serves a higher purpose. So, with this tip number 2, it's transformational tip number 2, I would love to invite you to begin to reclaim your sovereignty in relation to the living grid, in relation to how you are or are not co-creating your reality, and begin to think about what sort of life you want to live, what sort of planet you want to live on, and start seeding that, start really making that something that's part of your reality, rather than always taking other people's projections as objective reality. Transformational shift number 3. I mentioned the word a couple of times before. Fear fields. Now, these are fields of energy that I refer to, which are, I sense, are living, and they are in existence to just gain energy, to gain more and more energy. And they want your energy, particularly your fear, to keep them alive. And so fear fields are what will distract you and take you away from the direction, the vision that you want to move in the direction of. The place you want to land, it will do its best to take you off course by telling you that you can't make it, or telling you that you aren't good enough, and that, it will hit you exactly where you need to be hit to drop into fear so it can feed off of you. And once you are aware that fear fields exist, and particularly if you are kind of one of those people that wakes up in the morning and looks straight at your phone, you're connecting straight into the fear fields that want to influence you, rather than coming back into actually co-creating purposefully and consciously with your living grid, like the world that you want to see, as Gandhi said so beautifully, being the change you want to see in the world, being the change you want to see in the world. If you are connecting into fear field straight up, like straight out of bed, you are giving your consciousness and your really, really powerful energy to these fear fields, instead of to yourself and to your purpose work in the world, or to your family. Let yourself be aware that these fear fields exist. First of all, it's not just you in your head. It is actually an entity that is trying to get you to feed it. And once you meet them with awareness, rather than avoidance, and like sort of trying to then, like, experiencing a fear field and then distracting yourself, or trying to numb yourself, or scroll your way through it, or binge your way through it, you want to become aware of, and then repattern away from this fear field. So you want to come into a space of, oh, okay, well, there is that thing that is trying to drop my energy, and you choose to focus on what it is that you want to build in the world, what it is that you are here to support, what are you here to energize, and let yourself be in that, look towards that rather than pushing away from a fear field or distracting, as I said, numbing, binging. Look at what it is that you want to do and be in the world that makes you feel great, that makes you feel encouraged and alive and juicy and overflowing in abundance. Go in that direction. You see the feeling of that, and go in that direction and leave the fear fields alone. Don't give them the energy that they want from you. And you will see your external reality begin to reflect back to you the beauty of what you are sowing in your life rather than what you are succumbing to via these fear fields that are so determined to get your energy. These 3 shifts are just a glimpse of what it is that I take my participants through in my live LIGHTGASMIC program. We have 14 key shifts that go into such depth that your life will change in 2 months. We are together for 9 weeks, and these 14 key quantum and living grid shifts that happen in your life, even just one, will shift your timeline. All 14 together, woven into your life gradually over time, truly shifts your life, your body, your entire existence. And we've had 1 round of this already, and their participants have seen such amazing shifts. I'm talking about manifesting houses, manifesting partners, manifesting dream lives and dream careers. I mean, I can even just use myself as an example. Waking up every day, and I am not exaggerating here. This is not hyperbole. I am so excited for every single day of my existence. I am saying thank you nearly 300 times a day, and I'm not exaggerating. It is absolute magic. And I want you to experience it too. If you feel called to uplevel your life, shift into a timeline that is the one you absolutely are worthy of and deserve to experience in this now reality, in this life, then I'd love for you to join us in LIGHTGASMIC. This program runs live on the 25th of September. We begin 25th of September 2025. So come on in, grab it through the link below. There's a payment plan and a really reasonable price point for you to join us to truly shift everything that you desire into that highest potential that is possibly even beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and I am excited to be creating even more content for you into the future. Sending you so much love.